Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode, Coffee with Coach. Hope everyone's up and making some moves, got the mind in the right place. If it's not, then let's try to put it in the right place so you can have a great rest of the day. So the title of the day, the talk is Don't Bite the Donut. Don't Bite the Donut. So had a really good conversation with some of the students this morning after the 6 a.m. class. And then, like, on the way home, I always play some motivational videos. Jocko, I'm kind of walking my dog and stuff. Just finished that. And then I listen to, I catch an episode with Jocko, and he's talking about temptation. So it kind of goes right with the conversation I had with my guys in the locker room this morning. Don't bite the donut. Because why? When you say no to one bite, it gets easier to say no to the whole donut. And then the opposite. You take that one bite, it's so much easier to take another bite. And then before you know it, the whole donut is gone. Okay, so discipline enforces more discipline. Weakness creates more weakness. So we're just using the donut as a reference because I just thought it was funny because he was talking about donuts. And in this morning's conversation, we were talking about cheeseburgers, fries, alcohol. Like, pick whatever your weakness is, your temptation is, okay? Your temptation in anything, whatever it is that you just feel like, I gotta have, I wanna eat that or drink that or go do that, knowing that it's going to set you back, even though you might say you have enough willpower and discipline to just take that one bite, maybe take that one drink. How many times have you heard, you or someone else says, all right, I'm just gonna have one drink, and then I'm gonna go home. That doesn't normally happen. You have that one drink, that one sip, and before you know it, you're knocking them down and you're hanging out later than you're supposed to. You're not going to bed like you're supposed to, and then your day and the rest of your week drags into something that you don't want it to drag into, being tired and everything else. And that's kind of what we got into this morning. It was a really good conversation because we were talking about the quarantine, and I was telling my students this morning, like, the quarantine, being shut down for 2 months or so, a little over 2 months, and then having students come back, I got to see as a coach, who stayed on the path or at least tried to as much as possible, because there's no replacement for grappling. There's no replacement. You can run, swim, bike, do whatever you want to do, lift weights, CrossFit, whatever. There's no replacement for jiu-jitsu. But you had to do something. And during that quarantine, that time off, I was on my students about, hey, get a workout in, get a run in, do something, like eat healthy, like try to stay on track, because when we come back, it's going to be so much harder when you do come back because we haven't rolled. Like, your fingers get soft from the gripping of the gi. One of the students this morning was talking about, man, I got gi burns from inside my, from the gi. Your hands and your feet get cut up from the mat. Like, you get soft because you haven't been doing that rough thing over a 2 month span, right? But you got to do something. You got to do something to keep yourself physically conditioned. And for those individuals that didn't do that for 2.5 months, now that they're coming back little by little, I can see a huge difference in the ones that did try to run, flip some tires, do some swimming, do something, versus the ones that didn't do anything. And the ones that try to stay eating healthy versus the ones that went all in on, like, hey, you know what? We're on quarantine. We're shut down. We're watching Netflix. Ate the ice cream, ate the chocolate, drank the alcohol, did whatever, I can see a huge difference between the two students, the ones that did and the ones that, that didn't stay on the path, and the ones that tried to and did as much as possible, because we're all tired. We're all tired. It's not the same, including myself. I even put on some unwanted LBs. A lot of that had to do with I'm not burning the same amount of calories. I still got my runs, my workouts in, but I'm not training jiu-jitsu twice a day. So I put on some weight. Been losing some weight naturally just because now we're training and things are kind of, back to normal-ish, So things are kind of going back in place. But the temptation of knowing that this probably isn't the best thing for me, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to just take that little bite. I'm going to take that one little drink. What is your goal? What is your why? What is your mindset? Who are you around? What are you trying to achieve? keeping those things in front of you, like the things on the wall here behind me, and I got some other things in front of me here. The things that I listen to, it kind of helps reinforce me from like those temptations. Do I have them? Yeah, absolutely. And every now and then, do I fall into them? Yeah, absolutely. My biggest thing for me is like dark chocolate, right? So I think I talked about it before. I get this bag of trail mix from Sam's Club. It doesn't have salt in it. It's just cashews, walnuts, almonds, that kind of thing, with like dried blueberries, freeze-dried blueberries, and cranberries and whatever else. But it has little pieces, these little squares of dark chocolate. And I'm a sucker for dark chocolate, man. And I continue to buy the bag because I try my best to pick out just the almonds, get my healthy fats in there. But I also happen to get a few bites of the dark chocolate. And what happens? I end up taking another handful and another handful. It's tough. It tastes good. It tastes good. I love chocolate. The problem is I should have never stuck my hand in there anyways. I normally save that, try to eat that on the weekend. But it's in the cupboard. I open the pantry up. There's the bag. It's sitting there. And I'm like, oh, I'll just get the nuts out of there, and the fruit. And I'll try to, because it has pumpkin seeds. I like pumpkin seeds. It has a lot of pumpkin seeds in it. But it has that dark chocolate in there too. And every now and then, even though when I try to filter them out, it seems like a little piece of dark chocolate will sneak itself in there. And I eat it. And you get that taste in your mouth. And you're just like, man, all right, I can just do another handful. And then I'll be out. I'll zip the bag up and I'll be done with it. That doesn't always happen that way because I always get more than what I'm supposed to. So that's what we're talking about today. The temptation. Don't bite the donut. You know that donut's not good for you. It's got the sprinkles. It's got the glaze. It's got the filling on the inside. You know it's not good for you. You're at work. You brought your little meal preps with you, but then your coworker brings in a box of donuts and you're like, oh, everyone's eating them. Everyone's eating donuts. And everyone's like, oh, man, have a donut. And you're like, no, can't do that. I got my grilled chicken, brown rice, broccoli. I got my little healthy snack here, my apple, my almond butter, whatever you got. And then you're like, fall for it. And you're like, all right, I'll just take this bite. And you take the bite. Or maybe I'm going to eat half of it. And then what happens? You eat the whole thing. And now you feel guilty. You feel shamed. You're like, oh, man, I fell off the wagon. And then what happens with that? That also kind of snowballs into like, you know what? I'll eat another one, or I'll taste another bit of this, and then maybe you got busy that day and you work late and you're supposed to get a workout in and you don't get your workout in. And now you ate the donut plus you didn't work out, and then that continues to build into where finally, like me and my students were talking about this morning, you're just like, screw it, forget it. I'm just gonna it's too tough. I'm going to just eat this thing and not do this thing that I know I'm supposed to be doing. And then what happens? Weeks go by, months go by. You're not feeling good about yourself because you're not looking the way you want to look. You look in the mirror. You know you can do better. You're not doing better. You know that you became weak, and it starts to take over. So what happens? You go in that direction instead of saying, you know what? Time out. I need to fix this. I gotta grab a hold of this before it gets too bad. I slipped up. It's all right, but I got to get back on track. Most people have trouble getting back on track. How do you stay on track? Stick to the discipline. Like he says, discipline just enforces more discipline, because they was talking about in the podcast, like some people say when you test your willpower out too much, your willpower breaks. And Jocko was like, I disagree. When you test your willpower out enough, a lot, and you stick to it, your willpower gets stronger. And he also says, the more you hold the line, the stronger the hold gets. I love that. The more you hold the line, the stronger the hold is, right? The better the grip is. So the more your willpower, you stick to having the willpower, you stick to the discipline, the stronger the line gets, the hold gets, the stronger the grip gets. But then the opposite's also the same thing. The more you just get weak, fall for that little bite of that donut, that one drink you said you were going to have, or in my case, those little dark chocolate pieces, man, it tastes good. Them taste buds started grabbing a hold of it, and you're like, it triggers something in the mind, and you're like, I'll just do one more. What happens? You grab it more than you should, and then before you're off to the races doing something else. We're also talking about like on Sundays, I need to get better at doing things earlier in the day and not stay up so late on Sunday. Because why? If I don't go to bed at a certain time, take a shower, get my stuff ready the night before, do all these things. I get up and teach 6 a.m. class. I'm up 4:30, 4:45 on Mondays. And like today, and if I didn't prepare right for my Monday, it seems like the rest of my week is thrown off and I'm playing catch up the rest of the week, and it sucks and I hate it. And I'm hating myself for letting that happen. Like, man, not saying not to have a good time. Like I was telling my students earlier, man, you got to have a good time. Like, it's the weekend, it's summertime, you're going to barbecue, you are going to have some drinks, or you're going to eat whatever it is, in my student's case, he was talking about he loves cheeseburgers, I'm like, but just keep it to the weekend. But when it's happening during the week, and you're drinking the sodas during the week and the alcohol during the week, and you're eating the cheeseburgers during the week, and you're eating Sonic and Whataburger and In-N-Out or whatever it is that you love to eat, that stuff piles up. It piles up. It piles up over time. Before you know it, man, you put on some unwanted weight. You're not exercising like you should. All these things just accumulate, and then what happens? You just break all the way and say, you know what, screw it. I'm just not going to do it. And then months go by, and then now something happens, something triggers you. Like my one student was like, when I asked him what brought him back to jiu-jitsu for like the 100th time, he was like, well, I ran into someone I haven't seen in a while, and he's like, man, you gained some weight. Like that was their first reaction when they seen him. They haven't seen him in a while, was you gain weight. That didn't make him feel good, so he came back to jiu-jitsu. He's been on the path pretty good lately, so hopefully he stays on the path. But that's the norm, and you know what that's like for those that have done it. I think we're all guilty of it, like I said, including myself. I'm still trying to shave off a few lbs from the quarantine, but I know better. You know better. We all know better. We know what we need to do. We just need to do it and not do the other thing, because we know where that leads us. We know what path that takes us down, and then we know what path the other way takes us to. So don't bite the donut. Don't take that bite, man. The sprinkles look really nice and tasty on it, man. That glaze, that. But once you take that one bite, it's over, man. Most people don't have the willpower to take that one bite. So like Jocko says, don't take the bite. And it was funny because the other guy was like, well, take the bite and just do just do one bite. And he's like, don't do it. Just don't do it all together. Hold the line, hold the discipline, stay strong, and keep everything in place. So if that's you out there today and you haven't been holding the line, you haven't been keeping the discipline, get back on it. It's all right. It's going to be okay. Just get back on track. And if that's you in the office today and your coworkers brought in some donuts or whatever it is that they brought in, some pizza or something, don't do it. Don't do it. Go get something healthy. Eat the thing you meal prepped or whatever, and don't go down that path. You'll thank yourself later, and you appreciate yourself. And get the workout in, okay? It's a long day. Like one of my students, he said he did like a 16-hour day. I think he posted it yesterday. 16 hours, on the assembly line, works at General Motors. And he recorded himself doing some heavy deadlifts. He didn't want to do it, but he got it in. He knows what's going to happen if he lets that 16-hour day just make him go home and just shut it down, go to sleep. And then what happens? Another 16-hour day, you don't do another workout. Another 16-hour day, you don't get a workout in. Before you know it, man, you are not looking and feeling the way you want to look and feel. So hold the line, hold the discipline. Discipline enforces more discipline. Weakness creates more weakness. All right? Don't bite the donut. Catch you guys next time.